Have you ever followed your rules all week and then you see one setup and it looks so perfect and you tell yourself, okay, just this once. So you size up, you hold it longer, and you skip the stop because this one feels different. This is the trade that's going to take us out of the hood. So that one single trade not only doesn't take you out the hood, it also erases days of good decisions. And the scary part is that it wasn't a bad setup. It was the mindset, and you gave yourself the permission to fail. So today I'm going to show you exactly why this setup is perfect. Such a dangerous thought, and how that exact mindset keeps beginners stuck no matter how good their analysis is. So if you've ever said, I'll just make it back just this one time, I'm gonna do it, this video is for you. Do not give yourself a pass to fail. When you give yourself a pass, you're saying, hey, Kaiwin, I don't care all the hard work you've done in protecting your profits. Here's a pass to fail. Here's a pass to do something you know you're not supposed to do. Here's a pass because I feel like being weak right now. That's what you're telling yourself. When you give yourself a pass and you let yourself slide, what you're doing is, one, letting yourself be weak. But the more important thing is you're not comprehending in your cranium that you're already human. You don't have to give yourself a pass to fail. You don't have to give yourself a pass. You're human. There's zero way to be 100% consistent in anything. Like, error is part of your life as a human. You're never gonna say the right thing all the time, do the right thing all the time, regardless of your efforts or your education. It doesn't matter how long you've been trading. We've all seen someone, for example, they're on YouTube and they're making videos about how to be a trader. I've been a trader for 15 plus years. I've been a trader for forever. And then they post a video, I lost $500,000. Why? They obviously have the education because they know how to trade. They obviously have the confidence because they're making videos. They obviously know what they're doing because they've been profitable. But if all else fails, we can just assume they lost the money and they took a loss because of one thing, and that is their human error. That's inevitable. And every single one of us carry that. It doesn't matter if we're 5 years in, 2 years in, 1 year in, 10 years in. If I didn't already say that, 20 years in, 2 months in, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It just so happens that when you're a beginner, you don't have the knowledge that creates a buffer between you and your normal error. But when you're a year in, 2 years in, 3 years in, now you have knowledge, you have wisdom, you have some scars, bro. You have some scars. And what they do is they create a buffer, all right? They create a separation and a distance between you and your human error. So I can actually mitigate, navigate, and reduce a lot of my error because of the knowledge I have, right? Everybody had, like, let's gather along, let's agree on this point, right? The more you trade, the more you know what to do, the more you know what doesn't work, right? But at the end of the day, I don't care if you're trading for 1,000 years. I don't care. You are absolutely always going to have at least a smidge, a little sprinkle, a little dabble of human error. So when you give yourself a pass to break your rules, a pass to full port a trade. Full porting is when you throw all of your brain cells out the window, and then you gather all the money in your account and you throw it at one trade, right? And the prerequisite step, the first step, right, is to throw your brain cells out the window, because you're basically saying, hey, I know all the things that you know you should do, and I know you know that full porting doesn't work, but I'm gonna let you do it anyways, right? So you have to get rid of the brain cells first to even be doing that. But full porting is when you throw everything into one trade. And what happens when you throw everything into one trade is you're already on tilt. On tilt means off balance, right? Tilt means literally something's leaning off balance, right? So you're, it could be a lot of things. your emotional point is not regulated, your psychology is not on point, whatever the case is, something's off, and all of your good judgment is down here. You see I was not in the camera anymore? It's down there, right? And so what happens is that you're naturally going to break your rules at some point. You're naturally going to lose money at some point. Like, those things never go away. Like, just because you know what rules to follow doesn't mean you're going to follow them 100%. Like, that is the whole point of trading, is that you have something that works, your strategy, your risk management strategy, your scaling plan, scaling in and out of trades, etc. However, you're never going to follow it 100%. If you could, there'd be no videos on YouTube, because we would just be like, hey, follow your strategy and everybody's good, peace out. But it doesn't work that way. You have to constantly be held accountable for following the things you know that work. But when you give yourself a pass and you say, hey, today you do what you want to do. If you lose money, it's fine, you'll make it back tomorrow. I have a video on that I posted 2 days ago. No, it just doesn't work. There are some things that work and some things that don't. There are some mindsets that help and some that won't. And one of those mindsets that won't help you is, I'll just make it back. I made a full video on it already. I'm not going to get into that in this video. It's in my Wednesday reality checks playlist, my psychology classes that I host here on my channel on Wednesdays. Right? However, you have to account for the fact that you're a human. Now, if you're naive, and I'm 24, so I'm bold calling you naive, because I got a few more years for this, like, frontal cortex. Well, not even a few years. I got a year for this frontal cortex to, like, do whatever developing is supposed to do neurologically, right? So I have some balls, just saying it, trying to say that you're naive. But it's true. If I'm naive in some parts of my life, or I was naive in some parts of my life that I'm now no longer naive in, then I should be able to point out if somebody's naive or not, right? I literally have the game card for if you're naive in trading or not. Literally been through it, right? And so I know that you're naive if you think you'll be perfect 100% of the time. If you are not trading, understanding that loss is part of the game, then you're naive, point blank. If you're trading, thinking risk management is not important, you're naive. If you literally think that because you have money in your account that you can do whatever you want with it because it's your money, and if you lose it, then it's just your money, well, you're naive. Because you think that the money is the problem when the baby is I'm just kidding. But you think the money is a problem when the money is not the problem. The problem is that you don't want to follow your rules, right? You think, if I just had more money. This is the one that kills people. I might have to shut down my channel after saying this, y'all, because this was me. Ooh, this is hard to say. If I just had more money, I'd be successful. If you can't turn $100 to 200, then more money is not gonna help you. If you can't turn 1,000 to 2,000, it's not gonna help you to have more money. I'm sorry, it's not. It's just not. Okay, if anybody else has dealt with that in the past, who was naive, I used to be that way. I'm like, if I had more money. And then I also failed to risk manage the more money. I also full ported the more money. I also mismanaged the more money. And guess what happened? Blown accounts, right? Now I understand risk management because I'm no longer naive. I should make a video about risk management because I had to learn it the hard way because I was never really taught risk management for real. Like, I was taught risk management just means cutting out a certain percentage, and that is like not what has worked for me. So yeah, if anybody cares to know more about my risk management strategy, it's really only one question. I made a video on that already, but if you want me to like explain the whole concept, I will. But it's really just one question. How much money am I willing to lose on this one trade? And if I actually lose it, will I be able to live with it? Now, it's one question, but it's two parts, and they cannot be separated. They only work together. The reason why is because if you think, how much money, like the first part, how much money am I willing to risk? And I say, you risk 50 bucks for the chance of making 200. You're all good. You're good to go. Everything mathematically is checking out for you. Put in a little bit, make a lot more. What else we don't need to talk about anything, boss. Let's get the buy sell buttons rolling. Like, where's 9:30 a.m.? Let's go. Let's get it, right? But that's why I have a second part of the question, right? So the first part is, how much am I willing to risk? This is where most people stop, because they're like, oh, bruh, I am risking 50 for 200. I'm like, what's stopping us here, right? But I want you to have that second part, right? Second part. And if I actually lose this money, will I be okay with it? Well, if you have a $50 bill that you have to pay by tomorrow, and you're trying to use your 50 to turn it into 200, like you have a $50 bill that is due tomorrow. You're trying to use the $50 to flip it to 200 so that you can have money left over when you pay the bill. Because if you just pay the bill, now you have $0. But if you trade with the 50, now you have 150 left over when you pay the bill, right? So that's what you're trying to do. And what I'm trying to say is that if you lose the 50 you're risking, can you live with it? Well, if that bill is really important, don't risk the 50 trying to turn it into 200. Just be left with 0 and pay the $50 bill. That is maturing in trading and not being naive. And so that was such a good example. But you have to stop being naive when it comes to trading, and you have to stop giving yourself a pass to allow yourself to fail. Because when you allow yourself to fail, you're giving yourself the permission slip to make the bad trade in the first place. Because the root of that is, I'll just make it back. Bad trades don't matter. I'll fix it. It'll be fine. All of that is discussed in the video that I just posted on Wednesday. Because, bro, I can't even get into that right now. But, yeah, you really, I want to just give one last point for beginners, is that if you think that getting more money is going to solve your problem, it's not. If you think that becoming a different person is going to solve your trading, it's not. You have to just tweak the things that are currently not working and figure out what needs to be done instead of those things. Because if you keep doing the wrong thing over and over and over, it's never going to make it right. But if you do the right thing over and over and over and over, it might work for you, but it's definitely going to help you, if anything. So what I'm trying to say here is that everybody has strategies. And if you're watching the internet, watching videos, trying to figure out like what pieces of information, what pieces of gems that you can take and apply to your trading, you might try a lot of things. And a lot of the advice might not work. But guess what? You sticking to your strategy of you giving yourself a pass to fail every single day, giving yourself permission to fail every single day, definitely ain't working. So if you go and try other advice, it may or may not work, but it's definitely going to put you in a better position than just following the thing that you already know is not working. If you want more lessons like this, in my Wednesday reality checks playlist, where I do my weekly psychology class on this channel, that video or those videos are located in a playlist on my channel. So head over to my actual channel, click on the playlist, and you'll see those videos that you can go ahead and binge today because they are just that good. So I will see you guys in my next video. Remember, showing up every single day is what makes you a winner. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Kywin is out.